Hello, everyone, and warm greetings from Tehran, Iran. We are honored to be with you on World Schema Therapy Day 2025. It's Amir Askari, and together with my wife and colleague, Golafrooz Golami, we will be exploring an issue close to our hearts, schema therapy with couples in Islamic culture, religious context versus modernism.
Thank you, Amir. Thank you, dear Amir. Hello to all our schema therapy colleagues and our dear friends around the world. Today, we want to open a conversation that bridges psychology, culture, and spirituality. How schema therapy can meaningfully help couples in society where religious value deeply influence daily life, relationship, and even emotional expression.
Now, we want to talk in 9 parts, and the first part is setting the stage, the meeting of two worlds. In many Islamic societies, couples live at the crossroads of two powerful cultural forces. On one hand, there are religious and traditional frameworks that emphasize family unity, respect, duty, and spiritual harmony. On the other, modern influences bring new ideas, autonomy, equality, emotional expression, and self-fulfillment.
Exactly. Many couples find themselves navigating between these two worlds. The younger generation often seeks emotional intimacy and open connection values aligned with the modern and Western model of relationship. Yet, they still live in a social environment shaped by religious and cultural expectation of modesty, hierarchy, and family obligation.
Yeah, and that tension between belonging and individuality, duty and desire often shows up right in the therapy room. Schema therapy, with emphasis on early needs, schemas, and modes, gives us a powerful framework to understand this cultural complexity. Now, we want to talk in part 2 about how culture shapes schemas. That's a very important question.
Thank you. Let's start with the basics. Every culture teach children what is acceptable, lovable, and valued. In Islamic culture, especially in traditional families, early message often emphasize on obedience, respect for older, self-sacrifice, and modesty.
Yes, exactly. These values can meet important social needs in Islamic culture. They promote harmony and belonging. But when they are too rigid or enforced with a schema and shame, especially shame and guilt, they can lead to schemas like subjugation, self-sacrifice, and unrelenting standards.
Thank you. For example, a woman may grow up believing her needs uh, are not important or her needs are less important than her husband, or that expressing sadness or anger is selfish. On the other hand, men may be taught that showing vulnerability is weakness, which can reinforce emotional inhibition or entitlement scheme.
So in therapy, when these two partners or spouses come together, they are not only bringing their personal histories, but also the collective narratives of their culture. Schema therapy helps us uncover how these old patterns shape by faith, family, and society replay in their current relationship. Now, we want to talk in part 3 about religious context as both strange and challenge.
Religious. Of course, religious can be a great source of meaning and emotional security. Many couples draw on the faith to find patience, forgiveness, and purpose in their relationship. Spiritual values can strengthen the healthy adulthood when they are expressed with the compassion and flexibility way.
Absolutely. But when religion is used rigidly, when it becomes more about control than connection, it can reinforce punitive or demanding schemas. For example, a partner might justify emotional withdrawal or dominance by coding religious authority instead of engaging empathically.
In these cases, we help the couples differentiate between the faith as a source of the compassion and the faith as a mechanism of control, each of them. The schema therapy gives us a language for that. Is this belief nurturing the healthy adult part, healthy adulthood, or empowering the punitive parenthood? Which of them?
That is very powerful question because many clients are not rejecting their faith, they are seeking a healthier relationship with it. Our job is to help them integrate spiritual values like rahmat, it means mercy, patience, and honesty with psychological insight and emotional openness. Now, in part 4, we want to talk about modernism and the rise of new needs.
Thank you, Amir. At the same time, modernism has changed the landscape of the love and marriage, you know well. Many couples now expected emotional intimacy, shared decision-making, and authenticity. These expectations are healthy, of course, are healthy, but they can also create a friction with the traditional norms.
Right. In our practice, we often see couples where one partner leans toward modern values. I want equality, emotional closeness, personal space, while the other leans toward traditional ones. I want respect, stability, and family order. Schema clashes are inevitable.
Exactly. One partner's abandonment schema may get triggered by the other's need for independence, while the other's subjugation schema react to control. Without awareness, they begin to see each other not as a friend, a liar, and a partner, good partner. They see each other as a threat to their core emotional needs.
And this is where the schema therapy model is so helpful by identifying and naming these patterns. This is not you, this is your mode. We help them step back from blame and move toward compassion and understanding. Now, in the part 5, there is a case example for you.
So, let's share a simple example based on the several real cases in our culture. A couple. Let's call them Sarah and Dara. Woman and man, Sarah and Dara, come to therapy. Sarah feels unheard and invisible in relationship. Dara feels criticized and unappreciated. Sarah says, uh, he never asked me about my feelings, my emotion. And Dara says, she is always complaining.
Yes, in the assessment phase, we discovered that Sarah grew up in a family where women were expected to be patient and silent, a classic self-sacrifice and emotional inhibition background. Dara, as a husband, on the other hand, had a strict father and learned that expressing softness or apology equals weakness, punitiveness, and emotional deprivation history.
In therapy, we use mood mapping to help them visualize the dance between their thoughts or their moods. When Dara feels criticized, a detached protector mood takes over. Sarah, vulnerable child, feels rejected from Dara and she protests more and more. As a result, Dara anger activated and maybe go to our compensation mood. Soon, they are both in their protective mood.
Through imagery and dialogue work, we help each partner connect to their vulnerable child and express unmet needs safely. Dara begins to say, I need to feel respected. Sarah says, I need to feel seen. When these core needs are acknowledged, empathy replaces defensiveness.
Thank you. And we notice something's beautiful. Their face actually become a healing resource. When we ask, what would compassion look like in your spiritual tradition? They both face rahmat or mercy. Rahmat is a specific word in Islam. Rahmat or mercy. The word rahmat becomes an emotional bridge between schema therapy and their face value. In other words, we can help this word as a source of values to help them. Rahmat.
Yeah, now we are going to talk about part 6, challenge for therapists in Islamic culture. Of course, working in such contexts isn't always easy. Therapists often feel caught between respecting cultural values and promoting emotional freedom. For example, when a partner insists on authority or control based on religious interpretation, how do we respond without disrespecting their belief?
This is where therapy sensitivity and self-reflection are really essential. We must be aware, as a therapist, we must be aware of our own schemas and cultural bias and values. Are we reacting from our demanding parent mood, coping mood, or our healthy adult mood? Which of them? Are we imposing our version of modernity, or are we listening to what the couple truly values?
Exactly. Our role is not to modernize them, but to help them live their values more consciously and compassionately. Schema therapy's integrative nature allows us to hold both tradition and growth, duty and emotional connection within one therapeutic framework. Now, we are in part 7, and we want to talk about the bridge between faith and emotional growth. Yeah.
So, thank you. Very important subject. We often that when couples reconnect with the spiritual essence of their faith, not its rigid forms. I mean in balanced ways, not rigid forms of ideal and so on. They naturally move towards empathy and healing. When Islamic teaching emphasize balance, compassion, forgiveness, or understanding, principle that align beautifully with schema therapy.
Yes. For example, the Quranic concept of sakina, and in Persian we say sakine, tranquility and emotional peace within marriage, parallels the schema goal of secure attachment and emotional attunement. When couples see the psychological growth is not against their faith, but part of it, resistance fades.
Thank you, Amir. In that sense, schema therapy become a bridge between religion and psychotherapy, tradition and modernity. It's honor culture's roots while offering tools for emotional expression, self-compassion, and rational repair.
Now we are going to talk about the part 8, practical guidelines for therapists. And this is very important to know before we calculate. Let's share a few key principles we have found helpful in working with couples in Islamic or traditional contexts. The first one is cultural humility. It means approach with curiosity, not judgment. And the second is language sensitivity. It means use terms that resonate. For example, rahmat or mercy, trust or e'temad, or respect or ihtiram, rather than purely technical, psychological schema therapy terms. And third is collaborative goal setting. Align therapy goals with couples' values. For example, building peace at home. It's very sweet for them instead of autonomy. And the fourth is balance empathy and accountability. It means validate both partners' experiences while addressing helpful patterns. And fifth, use metaphor. In Persian language, we have lots of metaphor because our literature is very rich, and also metaphor and imagery. It means a spiritual language and literature language can deepen emotional work. And six, model flexibility. It means show that faith and growth can coexist. And this is very important. Our client feel faith and growth can coexist.
Thank you, dear Amir. And I would add, don't be afraid to use schema therapy experiential technique, same as imagery scripting or chair work for this group of patients. But we can frame them in culturally familiar ways. For example, imagine compassion as a divine light or moment of rahmat or rahmah can be very moving for couples of faith.
Yeah, we are in the part 9, the last part, looking forward as a schema therapist in Islamic societies. We are still exploring how to integrate our cultural and spiritual heritage with modern and Western therapeutic science. But we believe schema therapy, with its deep humanism and empathy, offers a universal language for healing.
Yes, whether a couple is struggle in Tehran, Istanbul, Jakarta, or London, the core emotional needs remain the same. Same as safety, connection, acceptance, autonomy, and love. The form may be different, but the heart is universal.
Yeah. So our hope is that as a schema therapy continues to grow globally, it will keep honoring the diversity of human experience, embracing cultural richness, spiritual depths, and timeless quest for emotional well-being.
Thank you. Now, time is over. Thank you all for sharing this time with us. On this World Schema Therapy Day, great day, may we celebrate not only our professional community, but also our shared humanity across cultures, language, and beliefs.
And may we continue to build bridges between East and West, between science and spirituality, and between the past and the future of human connection. We would like to thank Dr. Eckhard Rodiger, author of very famous and popular book, Schema Therapy with Couples, and other colleagues, especially Daria, for giving us the opportunity.
Thank you, dear Eckhart Rodiger and dear Daria, and thank you of all.
Thank you, and happy
World
World Schema Therapy Day.
Thank you.
Bye bye.